everyone in this here. So if you played any PvP in the past weeks, you will know that there is this huge trend that comes to Barb. Well, maybe I'm a bit guilty of it also, but it's the hammered HOTA build one-shot Barb. Whenever you go and see me doing like these things, or you're watching Abu stream and then you just see him smashing everyone with his super incredibly fun and powerful build, or maybe you decided to give it a shot after seeing that amazing video that Crane did, breaking down each part and each variation of this new one-shot build. I can't blame you to be excited to go into the battleground, try this new build that you saw on YouTube, and go and try to smash. However, there is like this massive issue that I kind of want to go and dive into it today, because I feel that this build might not be the best for you or to many barbarians out there that they keep playing the one-shot build, and yet they still don't have the requirements, the stats, the minimum thing that will make you super successful at playing this build. So today I want to share with you which for me it is my meta PvP build of this season as a free-to-play player, as a low resonance, and the one that skyrocketed my rating through the roof. Yeah, sometimes I still play the one-shot build, but most of the times I just go with my good old build, which is, if you've been a Barbarian last season, it is the Demo Shout with the chains build, with the Spartusk. You have the shoulders that give you a shield, you have the chains to grab them with the chest and the pants, and of course we have the new Bur-Breaker also replacing the Thunder Legacy, which is to be like that fire around you. And overall this build just works so much better in PvP if you are playing as the role that I feel like a low reso Barbarian should be playing, which is around the idol, maybe a bit even to the back, because whenever you see someone, a high resonance gladiator coming into the idol, your team gangbangs on him, and then you just go and you sneak in to drop that demoralizing shout to dispel him, and then he just dies. So I want to talk a bit about these specific things, what are roles in Battlegrounds, so you understand before diving into the build in the specific, which is something that I'm gonna take also from my friend Crane Plays. He made like this amazing guide when it came to PvP Barbarian from low to high resonance, which right now it is slightly outdated because that's just how it happens. Meta keeps changing, things keep evolving. But however, there are a few slides inside this video that I feel like they are still very prominent, especially like this one. So as an example, here in the middle, it is the idol. Whenever you play in the BG, there's this idol that you have to push. So this is exactly what I was trying to say. If you're a low reso, you want to play inside the idol or a bit into the back. Why? Because you probably won't be able to handle all the damage that will come from like wizards, demon hunters, even crusaders that sometimes it's just like come like with that falling sword and it just does a lot of damage. So you want to be placed between the idol in the backline, because you also want to help your backline. You want to be there to support your wizards, your demon hunters, because they are gonna be the ones that most of the times they just do and chunk the whole HP of all the barbarians and crusaders that are here, and then you just go and slide inside, you use your Spartusk, you dispel everything. Most of the times they all die, and even if you die, it is okay, because then someone from here, maybe a temp or someone, can go inside the idol and can keep pushing. By the time the other barb comes, you most likely also will come at the same time, and the cycle repeats. And also I want to add that for me, what is a meta build? It is a build that is good for every single resonance, from free to play, low res, mid res or high res. I feel like still this Spartusk Demoralizing Shout with chains, it is still personally my favorite. However, I understand that if you're a freaking whale, if you like to just go and pock with your hammer, bro, I would love to do that, but the reality is that I can't have the same impact as they do, and that's a massive problem. So in this slide from the same video, which I'm gonna link down below, if you're curious to check the whole thing, it is pretty worth it. You're gonna find two helmets. Please don't focus too much like on the skills itself. It doesn't matter, just focus on the helmets. Spartusk and the Heartless helmets, those are the ones that are still relevant. This one here, please just ignore it. Like It is pretty much useless in the today's age meta. You can use it, but I will highly advise you to not to. So I want to talk a bit about like these two helmets in specifically, and why 99% of the barbarians inside the battleground should actually be using the Spartusk. And in very niche cases, maybe you have a battleground that there is no barbarians, which is, that'll be incredible. It's like so rare to happen. Or there is no crusaders, or something like that, then you probably can actually go with a Heartless, because it's gonna give you immune to CC. And I know that a lot of the arguments that people give, but if there is like 2 or 3 wizards, I should go with this. And I'll say depends, because for me, my main issue is not really the wizards. I kind of learn along the way to dodge or to just wait a bit and then just advance. I know it can be pretty toxic. I'm aware. I played hundreds of games, but every single time, most of my problems is whenever I have the Heartless helmet with immune FCC, I go to play my role around the idol, and if there is one single barb that has the Spartusk, I'm gonna be destroyed. Not only is gonna do Spartusk, it can remove my Heartless, which I'm gonna again be vulnerable to CC, but beyond all, I can't dispel his Undying Rage, which is the massive thing. So please, let's read the Spartusk essence to understand why it used to be broken, because it used to dispel everything on the target, including Savior, and now it's just still super OP. So whenever you keep Spartusk, your Demoralizing Shout will now pull everyone towards you. So there's nothing more satisfying than being in the middle of like 3 or 4 players inside the idol and just pull them in. Like, it is incredible. Not only that, you deal damage and you stun them. So it's like AoE pull in stun that also is gonna remove all the beneficial effects that were applied by skills and primary attacks. Listen, this is broken. If you played World of Warcraft, you knew how this spell from Priest was so broken, and here it is no exception. Also, I really love to pair it with Lion's Mane, that whenever you use the Demoralize, it will detonate all the dots that the target has in one go. So it's just like all of a sudden you do like a big burst just by using this skill. So here we have the comparison side to side, and they both have different use cases. But if you see AttirbutesTerror, whenever you demoralize, now it's gonna make you immune to CC. But this immune to CC, it is a buff that again, it is very vulnerable to any dispel that you have, and it's gonna almost force you to take another offhand for Demoralizing Shout, which is the Dishonorable Blade, which is gonna increase the duration of the buff that you have to be immune to CC for 40%. This is also a great combination, but my point with this video is please understand where you are at the game. If you're like super strong and you can just kill all the backline and be super impactful, go for it, because now you're gonna be a carry. You are like super high reso, you are a well, you're gonna smash, and you are doing your job. But I also want to point out that when it comes to carry games, I still feel that to kill the backline, Tempest takes the win over Barbarian. And you may say, no, that's freaking crazy. Like, Barbarian just one-shots everything. I know that. But the difference is, like, in terms of survivability, I feel like whenever I see a Barbarian just running into the backline, it's like a kamikaze mission. He goes and he will try to kill everyone until he has the Undying Rage, and after that, you're just dead. On the opposite side, Tempest has way more mobility. Even NECRO, with the rate, with the dashes, with all these things, they can go in, they can get the kills, and they can come out, and they are still safe. So if you're a really good Tempest, you can go for so many kills and still have so many little deaths in the BGs just because you're that good at playing that class, because he has the mobility. So I'm not saying that Barbarian, it isn't strong. I'm just saying that for my personal experience and what I see, Tempest just feels slightly better as a whale and to kill the backline. Because above all, the massive strength that us Barbarians we have, it is this little skill called Undying Rage. So when people say that we are tanky, yeah, we're a bit beefy, but we're not as tanky as a Crusader. And if you're like low reso, bro, you're not tanky-ish. You're gonna die like a potato, man. So our luck is that we have Undying Rage, which is such a powerful skill that people are saying, oh, they should nerf, they should do this and that. And in a way, I think so. But in another way, I feel like, okay, wait a minute. If they take this out of Barb is pretty much like useless. It cannot do anything. So if you're a smart Barb, you will not die like 10, 12, 15 times per BG, but you will play around your cooldowns. I know that there are few games that even I like have like more than 10 kills because there is just no chance. The only thing that I actually can do on that game, it is to stall the idle when they are trying to push. And if I can survive and be there for like 10 seconds, that's a big W for our team because our team then will come. And overall, that's like a massive net positive for the team. Be aware when it's like the right thing to actually go alone into the idle or whenever it is a bad thing. These things are a very nuanced in-game things. You have to be like, you need to have like some awareness whenever you're doing the PvP, watching like the map and everything to know if you're making the right call. This just comes with experience. So to boil down everything that I'm gonna share with you, it is, in my opinion, the best meta build in the game for Barb because it will work for every single Barb in the game. Doesn't matter if you just start in the game or you've been here for 2 years and you were a whale, it will still work super well for you. So let's dive into it. The skills, we have Wrath of the Berserk to make us big, to proc the Bur-Breaker, which I'm gonna show you. Then we have the chains. The chains are so OP, man. The chains are the main skill that actually made me start playing Barbarian. Bro, the Shackle of Fate, like to keep them pulling, it is so nice. Then we have the Demoralizing Shout. Again, you're gonna pull everyone, stun, dispel, and do instant dot damage. So, just, isn't that insane, man? And of course, for last, we have the Undying Rage. This skill itself, it is already so good. And then if you have, like I have a 2 out of 4 magical attribute that reduce the duration of 40% of the harmful effects. So for example, so whenever this is triggering, you're gonna have your dots. So the dots duration that you have on you will be reduced. Of course, have in mind that this is nerfed by 66%. I wish I had like 4 out of 4 because that will make my survivability even go higher, but I don't. And going back here to the instance in a more complete way, we have Spartusk, the MVP of this build, together with the Shackled Fate. So demoralize, stun, dispel with the chains to pull. Then we have here one of, in my opinion, the best instance that, I mean, people say that this sucks. I don't know, man. Like, this saves my life 3, 4, 5 times a BG just because after my Undying Raging is about to end, I pop this and I start bandaging myself, and the Grace procs or the dots cannot kill me, and I can heal myself without dying or without proccing the Savior or the Gladiator. It is so useful, and personally, I feel like shields are not like that great when it comes to low reso players because our main issue is that we have a very little life. So if you use like Paragon, like Brawler, or the Barrier Reforged set, I will not advise because like the shields will be like pretty meaningful. But this one, because I have control to know when to use it, I can take so much advantage out of it, which is insane. Then we have Buried Talons, the pants that go always so well with the chains. Every time you click on the chains, you get a damage boost of 90%. Please have in mind, again, all these numbers are nerfed by 66% in Battleground. Then we have Lion's Mane. As I explained, whenever the target has some dots sticking on him, whenever you Demoralize Shout near him and hit them with the Demoralize Shout, the full duration of the dots that were still remaining on the target, they will just instantly proc and do insane damage. Then we have another main end. We have the Rending Bite. Main reason, whenever you auto attack, is gonna add another extra dot, is a bleed to the target, which is gonna be insanely good with Falling Thunder. That is gonna give us another damage boost of like 20.5%. It is, man, it is nuts. And last but not least, man, this instance, oh my god, it is so good that in the past it used to do more or less the same thing, but the cooldown that he procs from like 0.5 to 0.3, and that made a huge difference. So pretty much all I need is to run inside the idle, and then I'm gonna start it do insane damage. It is just like so funny to see, man. So afterwards, let's speak about the sets. Sets is very easy. 4 pieces Vithus to buff yourself when it comes to the attack speed, mainly because of the chains and also your animation, but also you're buffing everyone around you, which for me is super good. Then, of course, we are using dots. So we're gonna use Grace. Grace is still like the best green set in the game, in my opinion. You won't use this if you're gonna play with Hammer, but for me, man, it is such a damage boost, man, because I have the Bleed 1 dot, I have Viper's Bite 2 dots, and I have Everlasting Torment is 3 dots. So since we're already speaking about dots, this is my current build. We are using Misery Elixir to extend the duration of the dots on the target. Then we use sometimes Storm Vault, sometimes I put the Gloom Cask. I feel like the Gloom Cask, it is, if you have it, is better. But probably if you're free-to-play player and you've been playing for the past months, you're gonna have these Storm Vaults for free because they gave one for free. And why this is like super important? It is because if you're playing around the idol and these procs, everyone that gets hit by your Storm Vault will get all the dots that you were playing with. And you're gonna do like this AoE damage and the dots and the grace and the whole synergy is there. Then Bergen's Fang, man, I love this gem because we do a lot of damage like in such a short period of time because of the dots and the attacks. You're gonna have like the damage increase like super fast. Then here I have Mother's Lament, but it's actually not Mother's Lament because I'm playing dots, I'm not playing with crit. So I want to use Ignis Scorn. So whenever I crit, there is this explosion. And in the same way as a Storm Vault, whenever there is an explosion around your opponent, everyone around will get hit and then you again spread your dots. So try to understand how can these build of dots can be really powerful and work in your advantage. Then we have Viper's Bite that pretty much is married with these other Answers Pain Clash. These two, they go so well together. Viper's Bite, whenever you hit the target, it's gonna apply a poison instantly, which is gonna mean that every time you have a dot on the target, you also have a damage boost. Have in mind, I only have like rank 5 gems. I only have like 950 resonance. So as you keep ranking up all of these, your build will just become better. And for the last two, we have here Everlasting Torment that every time you're gonna crit on the target, it's gonna add an extra dot. And finally, as the last one, Bloodsoaked Jade. You can get this from free from Turlic Pearls. But if you don't have this, there are many others that you can use. You can use Pain of Subjugation. You can use even Berserker's Eye or Power and Command or the Unwilling Eye, which is going to increase the damage of your dot. So there's like a lot of choices to replace these. So don't feel like you need to have these. I only have these because of the 10 movements. I mean, if you're a Barbarian, if you're a melee class, movement speed is king, okay? So now let's talk about Reforges. In my opinion, and if you're a free-to-play player, I would advise you to not play with barrier set. And the main reason is because I explained your HP is going to be very low. So the shields you're going to get from barrier is going to be like very short. And overall, it won't really matter because once you go into the idol, you most likely half of the time you're going to instantly proc the Undying Rage. So while you are in the Undying Rage, in my opinion, all you want to do, it is the maximum damage possible. So if we go here to the blacksmith and we go to the reforge, right now I'm still working on it. But in my opinion, the best reforge set that you can have is duration of beneficial effects. This is insane. You have Undying Rage. You want to be able to survive as max as you can. And even if this is not 66%, when you add up with all these pieces, it is worth it. Then we have attack speed that we don't use. And instead, you want to go with the damage taken from players is reduced by 1%. This is the correct one. Unfortunately, I still didn't have enough reforged stones because they are super rare for free-to-play player. So that's why I'm advising you. If you're gonna change correctly because this is very tough to actually go and change. Then for the last three, we have damage to players increased by 1.5%. Damage to enemies suffering loss of control. Whenever you do the chains, they will be slow all the time, which is gonna give a huge damage boost to you. And for last, we have damage to shielded enemies. We all know how annoying Tempests are, but not only Tempests, everyone now has shields. Okay, so you want to break those shields as fast as you can, and having a 6% increased damage to it, it is nuts. So I really like this reforge setup. Not only that, whenever you have that, it triggers a 2% of your primary attack to deal an extra damage, and whenever it procs, sometimes it's like it's a huge slap that you give him. And I love it. I love it. And in the past, I used to use something different, and I can see the difference in my damage and my results inside the BGs. Because I want to show you something. Because a lot of people think that, especially free-to-play players, they think that you need to spend money, you need to be at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 reso to do well in the BGs, and that's just not the reality. Of course, the highest you go, the easier it's gonna be, right? However, there is this thing that, you know, before you are 3,500, it is gonna be very hard for you to get legend, because all you're gonna be matched is like with 4 or 5k reso people, and that's a pretty tough spot to play with. Probably one of the most competitive brackets, because there are like so many players. But after 3,500 rating, it just doesn't matter. You're just gonna be matched with everyone. If you go and check here, it says upon you reach to a legendary ranking, your resonance and your power, it doesn't really matter, okay? Doesn't matter if you're just starting the game and you have 10 reso, you're gonna still be treated as a high ranking legend player, and so you're gonna be matched with whales all the time, 10k whales, like everything, okay? That's how I play nowadays. So that's why Barbarian plays such a huge role when it comes to just keep progressing into the game. Barbarian is insane because its survivability, it is crazy. You can tank a freaking whale with you, and that not a lot of classes can do that. Most of them just get one-shotted, and Barbarian, it is that powerful for that. There's like people that say that Barbarian is the class perfect to hide your reso just because of the Undying Rage. And look at me, I have 71% win rating, and I am playing at 4,600 rating. I don't carry games. I can't carry games at this stage, but you know what? I will do my part. And if I do my part, we will win the game. Because I feel like a lot of whales, they just want to carry the game. Then they just want to go for the kills and have 30, 40, 50 kills, whatever it is the number. But then they look back and they see that their freaking team just coming with them to the backline, and the idol is still in the back. Nobody's pushing it. So what are you doing? So understand that these whales, they also need you to win the game. It is very frustrating whenever you're trying to carry a game and you don't have barbarians to go and push the idol. How do I know? Because I was not a barbarian. I used to play other things. I used to play Demon Hunter, for example. And then I realized that, man, most of the barbs are just morons, man. Why you're not on the fucking idol? So I used to get like so triggered, and I'm sure like many of you do too. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play Barb, man. You know, I'm just gonna play Barb because I feel like I can have more control inside the BG, and how am I gonna play to get the win? And you know what? Since I've been playing Barb, I've been smashing because exactly that. So now let's talk a bit about Paragon. In my opinion, if you're gonna play around the idol, this is the best one. Why? Because you're gonna have the cheat dead, which after you die, you're gonna come up with 60% life. It is great. You have this one, Uncontrollable, which is gonna give you some CC immunity. Your melee, your Barb, like you know what I'm talking about. Then you have this one, which I feel like is so underrated and not a lot of people actually use it, but it is by each party member that is around you near the idol, you get a damage reduction of 2.5 per each person. So have in mind, whenever you are in group, you are better. And then whenever you're fighting a player, not only you take less 4% damage, you also do 4% more damage. And if you kill them, then you get like this buff that is increased to 12%. It is very good. And then when it comes to like these legendary skills, let's be honest, they are pretty dog shit. So usually what I use is the lightning rod, because you know my dots are on the target and then it's gonna eat the grace, and then the lightning rod can also proc. So that's a good thing to spread the dots. That's why I use. But if not, probably I'll take benefactor to give a shield to my team around. But again, you're not always with your team around, so you know sometimes it can be like a bit useful to have this. And the last one, it is roaring strikes. This one is also cool. Is you are attacking with the primary damage, and then you have a chance to knock back your enemies. But there is a huge problem, and the problem is that you don't have immune to CC. So a lot of times you are just gonna be inside the idol, and most of your damage is while you are in CC. So you see your Bur-Breaker just go and you are still in stun. So I use and I try to use the primary attack as much as I can. But the main strength from this build, it is the amount of damage that you can output without being even able to attack with them with your primary attack. So let's go here to the familiars. This is a pretty brain dead one. I don't want to expand more. Just get a pet with the savior. You can go to the action house. You can buy the cheapest one, and that will do. Have in mind that the higher the resilience that your pet has, the less the cooldown will have. Then on the warband, very quickly, go here, room, protector. Nothing else matters. Just get this protector to increase your size so you can run faster. Then we have something that I see a lot of people still miss. Bro, if you have Helliquary and you are at the end game, not in the beginning of the game, at the end game, just pick up Demonic Remains with Fortitude and Willpower only. It's gonna be worth the minor loss of combat rating, and it's gonna be give you a chunk of Fortitude. Okay, another quick tip, please. If your item doesn't have Fortitude, it is freaking garbage. Straight up to the garbage. Don't care, don't use it. Always go with item that needs all the time Fortitude. If there's no Fortitude, it's trash. Please, you know, just into your brain. And why is Fortitude so important? And willpower too? It is because it has to do with your secondaries, bro. Your secondaries is the thing that's gonna make you tanky, are the things that's gonna make you do a lot of damage. However, usually I go with the armored pen because like that's just freaking awesome. You just do more damage basically. Since we're here, let's speak about the Horadim, which is a game with a huge update change. You can now reset your Horadim to just become a god. So if you didn't do this yet, please reset your Horadim. And for 99% of you, just go full yellow for armor, full red for armor pen, and the purple for armor penetration and armor. All you want is just full stack this. Nothing else matters. Fuck everything else, okay? If you do this, you're gonna do way, way better. I tried to go, for example, with a bit more potency and armor and a bit of like a bit more balance. It didn't work as well, okay? So if you're gonna say, oh, Indes, but you don't know what resistance what, bitch, I know because I actually played with it and I can feel it in my games that whenever I don't go full armor and armor penetration, I'm weaker, okay? So I don't need your comments. All I need is to, am I stronger or not inside the BGs? And I can guarantee you, if you go with armor and armor pen, you will be strong. So for the last two things, we're gonna talk about cursed items and magical attributes. For the cursed, we have Nettle set 6 pieces. Pretty much you're gonna get an extra shield, which is a good thing, but above all, you're gonna be able to do more damage because whenever they hit the shield, they get a counter attack. So again, it's gonna refresh your dots, it's gonna be great. So 6-piece Nettle, and then because we are using the primary attack, we are gonna go with the Lashed. Whenever you hit the target, you're gonna clap them. Not only that, you're gonna do extra damage and add an extra dot. So hopefully you can understand the whole synergy with dots and damage and the grace procs and how annoying will be to play against you. And last but not the least, let's speak about the Terror Rift magical attributes. The best one ever. It is the Wrath of the Berserk. Ideally, always want to have 4 out of 4. Unfortunately, I didn't got lucky enough, but still, I have 1 out of 4. I can still sense and see the difference because when you're in the idle, you're gonna start putting your Wrath of the Berserk and you're gonna see like these explosions coming outside of you and you know, it's just great to have it. And the more you have, the more you're going to be like always like well, it is an insane amount of damage to it. The other one that I will highly recommend, it is the Undying Rage. This one, it is super underrated, especially for your survivability. So if you can also stack this one at the 4 out of 4, it's gonna be insane. And I also am super excited to show you the new magical attributes. And this one for me might be the best one for PvP itself. It's called the Deluge Maelstrom. And whatever it does, it is freaking insane, man. It's gonna be like, bro, imagine like you call the Kraken and you summon the Kraken. And there's gonna be like this huge whirlpool around you. But there is a huge fall when it comes to this. So you guys can use. But don't worry, I'll give the trick to it. So this is my auto attack, right? So this is my auto attack. But whenever I press the ultimate, and usually you want to use the ultimate, especially when you're about to die because it's gonna give you a shield. But now, more than the shield, you're gonna put the shield, and then whenever I'm gonna attack, you're gonna see this massive piece. Look at this, and then everyone that is inside that is gonna just start flying to the sky, man. It is, oh my god, it is so crazy. I just love it. But again, the huge downfall, it is that, well, we're pretty much only gonna use this once per BG, okay? And that's pretty much it. But I still think it's a great PvP trait because not only you have the BGs, but also you have like Vault, you have Guild versus Guild with the Vigils and the Riot of Exile. So after you finish your BG, you want to go from your Battle Master and run here to this one while you're in queue, and then you just charge your ultimate. What, instead of going to maybe kill some mobs or just scratching your balls while you're waiting for the queue, you come here, you just press, and then you just wait, and you're gonna charge this, and it's gonna make a huge difference because next BG you're gonna start, you're gonna have it, and especially because in the beginning there is a lot of people fighting at those like small stairs. It's gonna be super impactful to actually go and use your ultimate and knock back a lot of people. And not only that, it does a lot of damage also. I truly enjoy this skill. I think also, for example, the armor breaker is also can be a good thing, but I don't think it's as disruptive as this one. And I'm really happy of using this one, and I just click on the ultimate and I become like, oh, look at this. Look at this. It's like, bruh, love it. Oh my god. And so with this, I think we actually went about everything. I gave you my perspective. I tried to prove you why Spartusk in general, for 99% of you, especially if you're a low reso player, it is so much more valuable than trying to go with the Artless Terror and try to kill. Just leave that for the whales. They're gonna have some fun. And I will guarantee you, if you start using this build, playing a bit more defensively, play a bit more around the objectives, you're gonna be able to actually just increase your win rate by a lot, because you're just gonna be way more useful to your team. Because more than the damage, what they actually need, it is your support, it is your dispels. And just let like classes like Demon Hunter, Tempest, Wizard, Necros, they do all the damage. They don't need you for damage. But don't worry, you're still gonna do a lot of damage. But not as much as the HOTA build, but you're gonna be way more useful. And I truly believe in that. And I wanted to make this video because I see a lot of barbs, they get into the YouTube hype, and I completely understand. I'm guilty of it, man. I'm literally one of the people that I'm guilty for sometimes hyping you. And because I get hyped, if I get hyped, I'm gonna share with you, you know? But now, after being a bit into the season, I was gonna make this video a bit before, but I wasn't sure because I was just testing like the waters. Okay, let me see if I'm wrong, because I can be wrong, but I don't think I am on this. And so, if you're still here, man, this is the last freaking call. I really appreciate you for still being watching the video. Put the timestamp on the comment so I know that, you know, you are here to become like the best as you can. And hopefully, you can also go and climb your way to the rank 1 of the barb of your server. That's all I wish for you. It's becoming more competitive each and every day, but nonetheless, there's always a chance. And if this video brought you any value, please consider subscribing. We are on the mission to overtake the Diablo Immortal channel. We are the, what, 31,700 subs to go. Man, we're gonna do that quickly. So if you want to do it and you want to help the cause, please do it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have some fun with your barb. Go kill it. Go have some fantastic wins. And, well, losses, they are also part of the game. And, well, with this, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.